Hey, listen, if you're a man and you're a high earner, or let's say you make at least $70,000 a year, you know, you don't have to be unhappy, man. My advice to you is to seek a wife elsewhere, not in this country, not from what I've seen. And if you don't believe me, talk to a lot of foreigners, a lot of immigrants that migrated to America. Ask, where did they get a wife? I'm telling you, us immigrants that migrated to the United States, we look at the people born in America putting up with all that crap and we laugh at you guys. I'm telling you. Go get you a wife elsewhere or you will not be happy. Trust me.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper!
You know it's bad when a foreign man is over here telling American men to not marry American women. What's going on, YouTube? Is your boy Rome back with another video. If you're new to the platform, welcome to the tribe. By the end of this video, I hope you subscribe. So, got a video for you guys from content creator that is a big part of the reason why I'm in this space, Jada Black. Some of you guys are probably familiar with him. Shout out to that brother. We got another episode of Passport Sis Failed. Now, before I get into this, I want to give into a little bit of context because the way he explained it, this woman is Dominican. However, I think she was born in the States, but she went back to the DR to get her husband. That's where she made the mistake. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it.
Why my Dominican husband left me after only 2 weeks of living in the US. And let me start off by saying I'm never going to apologize for being a good person, having a good heart, and believing in love. Because one thing I'm never going to do is live in the what if, because I feel like es un desperdicio de vida. And if that makes me ingenua, then so be it.
Now, I gotta say, I know she just spoke a little bit of Spanish, but you can clearly see that she is westernized and Americanized, or maybe she was born in it, because she has like no accent whatsoever. But let's keep it moving.
My ex-husband and I, who we'll call Moon, we've been together for 4 years, married 3. I lived in the Dominican Republic with him during COVID, but we decided that it was better for me to come back and live in the United States so that we could qualify for the visa. So in 2022, I moved back and we started applying for the visa in August. I was going back and forth doing long distance porque yo estaba agarrada de mi palo dominicano, mi amor, and no one can get me out of there. Fast forward to this year, in May, we heard back and got our appointment for May 2024. And we did the whole thing. He got approved. And then he ended coming back with me in June to the United States. So since the beginning of the relationship, he had always struggled with holding down a job and being financially responsible. And so I took it upon myself to teach him the things that I know so that he could get better, so that when he came to the States, he would just be able to manage his money mejor. So over the past year, he was able to secure a really good job, and now he's balling and has all this money, and he's just like, I don't know what to do with it. Me being the person that I am, I'm like, ponte a ahorrar, like go to classes for English so that when you come to the United States, like, you know, the visa is coming through soon, you're prepared and ready to go. But of course, now he has in his mind that he wants to do something else with his money y que él va a comenzar a construir su casa. So that's what he's going to do. Dominican Republic, when you lay the roof of your house, usually your family members move on top of it. So that's what she did. She gave him a piece of her property so that he can start constructing there. But there was no need for him to start doing that just yet. So el hombre se puso a construir, which is great because now you have a place of your own. But now money is tight and you're asked out, and somehow, some way, now I'm the bad guy because I don't want to offer up my funds to help you do something that I told you that it wasn't the time for you to do. Of course.
So basically, you were trying to run a relationship because you had been funding it all the way up until he was finally in a position to be able to take care of himself. And then when he wants you two to bring the income together, that Americanized, that westernized part of you showed. And this was probably the beginning of what made him want to go back to the DR. But let's continue.
Of course, I feel guilty and I deposit him money to finish building the house.
Wait a minute, what the hell?
So I fly back to the DR to be with him and prepare for the visa interview. So before the visa interview, everything's going really well. After the visa interview is when shit starts going to hell. And it wasn't just the fact that I was realizing that I was going to be the sole provider, because I was ready to do that. We had already discussed it. But it was me realizing that you literally had done absolutely nothing to prepare yourself to move to the United States, even though we've been in this process over the last almost 2 years. It was his baby mamas texting him, asking him, oh my God, I can't believe you're leaving. So where does this leave us? What are we? What do you feel for me? Excuse me? It was the finding him trying to initiate conversation.
Yeah, and of course the baby mamas don't want him to go because, that's what baby mamas do.
Of his ex of almost 6 years. Why are you reaching out to her? It was simply the lack of consideration and me realizing that you're actively trying to make me the villain in this story.
No, it sounds like he was just trying to be responsible because he still had kids in the DR. And maybe he was reaching out to her so that way they can communicate about what they were going to do, since he was no longer going to be in the DR and he has children in the DR, excuse me. What's so complicated about that? Am I the only one who is looking at it that way? Or is this just one of those things where a woman is jealous because a woman that a man had children with still has access to him, therefore she feels like she's always going to have access to him, if you understand my lingo.
So now we're beefing and I'm telling him, bro, like if you don't want to come to the United States right now, you don't have to. Let's work this stuff out and come in together in a healthier space. He refuses and he's like, we can push past this. Let's just go and live the life that we've always wanted to together. So we come to the States, and when I tell you things were rocky from the jump, tíreme de un barranco. And of course, we were going to have the basic relationship fights, like put the toilet seat down, pick up after this, because now we're living with each other 24/7. Pero lo que no se justifica is, why is la sierva texting you at 6 in the morning telling you about her personal problem? Why are you asking fulana de tal if she's eaten and recommending her to rent out the house? What house? And yes, moving to a whole different country is so hard, but I'm bending over backwards to make sure that you're having a good time. We're trying to help you acclimate in the best that I possibly can. From the moment that he set foot in the States, we tried really hard to help him find a job. But because his Social Security hadn't come in yet, he obviously couldn't start working, and we didn't want him to start working illegally just in case that brought any sort of problems. I will say though, one of the reasons why I fell in love with this man is because he knows how to work. He was never the one to be lounging around. He always was trying to hustle, work, for both of us when I was living there and I didn't have a job. And even after both of us were settled in, like he was always really good and never asking me for anything, even though I would be the one to offer. Which is why I was so understanding when I could see that he was restless being here and not having anything to do. Lo que yo no entiendo, however, is that your restlessness is coming because you know you have bills to pay in the Dominican Republic and kids to maintain, but you did absolutely nothing para ahorrar tu dinero cuando tú podías. So unfortunately, the bickering and fighting continued, and one of the first things that he said in our real fight was, is this why you brought me here? Like, get me my flight so I can go back. To which I responded, what you're not going to do is sit here and try to make this like I was the one who brought you here when this was actively your decision. Because what you're not trying to do is make this a me problem.
And I gotta stop right here because let me tell you something. This is deflection. This is definitely deflection. Because just earlier, it was pretty clear she was the one that insisted on living in the United States. You were the one that insisted on that. You were the one that said it would be better. But reality is that the reason why you didn't want to live in the DR and you wanted to live in the United States is because the United States leans towards women, is in favor of women, is basically a matriarchal society. You know what I'm saying? With the illusion of being under a patriarchy so that women still feel the need to have something to fight for, even though they have more, they you can argue they got more rights than men now. So of course you didn't want to stay down there. Lifestyle, you know, more patriarchal. Yeah, of course you didn't want to stay down there with him. And I'd be willing, and you know what, I would not be surprised if she's probably childless and she knew that this man had children back in the DR and you still wanted him to uproot and leave everything and go to the United States with you. Meanwhile, she probably doesn't even have kids. So who was really being the selfish one in this situation? Ma'am, you just wanted to control the relationship. That's what it was.
Tú era the one who needed to save his money. But anyways, para cortarle story time, by the second week, he was already telling me that he was ready to go home. And I begged, y yo le lloré, y le pedí to please stay. Let's work this out. Wait, the papers are going to come. You're going to be able to start working. It doesn't make sense for you to go back and start working there when the money that you could be earning there, you can earn it here in your first check. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. And he just made his decision that he was going to leave. And he did. I had told him that if he decided to leave, that our relationship was done, because I was not going to be with someone who's going to come and only be here for 2 weeks and decide that they can't handle the pressure and just bounce. When I moved to the Dominican Republic and I lived there for 10 months looking for a job without finding one, just struggling just because I wanted to be with this man, because I wanted to give our relationship a shot. So you're going to tell me that I can go ahead and do that and I can fly back and forth for 4 years, spending my money, my time, and my resources, and you can't come here and sit there with me and struggle past 2 weeks?
Struggle love.
No.
That dynamic is completely different than him coming to the United States. And you know that. You know that. Now, obviously, you knew you was going to struggle finding work down there. That's the reason why you wanted to come back to the United States. We're not dumb. You know, we're only hearing one side of the story, but there's definitely things that can be questioned on her side. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this. If you're new to the platform, please subscribe. OGs, I appreciate the love and support. Make sure y'all hit that bell notification. That way y'all know what I'm uploading. Hit the like button because that's with the algorithm and helps me reach a broader audience. Also, look out for the travel blog channel, Unplugged Traveler. Link is in the description. Until the next video, y'all. Deuces.